Good evening. I am Dr. Tama Trammell, President of Atlanta Suburban Alumni Chapter. I, along with our partners, the Thundering Tau Chapter of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity and the High Aspirations Foundation, welcome you to College Prep 101, College and Vocational Fairs Educational Webinar Series. This is our Take Off Tuesday, our webinar series number 3, Scholarship Resume Writing. We're delighted that you've chosen to spend your time with us as we focus on something essential for academic and professional success: building and refining a strong resume. This important and timely session is designed to equip you with practical tools that support academics, career readiness, and long-term success. The Atlanta Suburban Alumni Chapter is committed to empowering our community through educational excellence and professional development. And programs like our College Prep 101 reflect our dedication to equipping our young scholars, our college students, and individuals with the knowledge and resources needed to succeed in today's competitive academic and professional environments. We're excited to present this dynamic webinar today, and it's focused on building strong and effective resumes for scholarships, internships, job placement, and career advancement. So whether you are a high school or a college student or someone looking to refresh your resume, this session is designed with you in mind. So no matter where you are in your journey, this information is relevant and valuable. So thank you for joining us this evening. We hope you find this session engaging and that you leave feeling confident and prepared to take the next steps toward your goals.
Thank you, Madam President. I am Dana Tucker Davis, and we have a few objectives and goals for our session tonight. And we hope everyone that's watching is able to check us and make sure we received and we presented, our objectives and goals to you. Today, we're going to focus on understanding the types of resumes, building the best resume, alterations for certain resumes, avoiding issues with applicant tracking systems. That is very, very new. So if you're paying attention, you'll know what that means. And so, of course, as we've done in our first two sessions, we have rewards for you. And we offer a promo code for a College Common App application for the colleges that are in that program. I believe it's like 62. So the more engagement you have, the more chances you have to actually win one of those application promo codes. And you can connect with us. Our hashtag of the day is hashtag College Prep 101. And of course, you can always visit our chapter, Atlanta Suburban Alumni, at our social media handles, www.asacdst.org or at ASACDST. And then our partner, the Thundering Tau chapter of Omega Psi Phi, they're fancy. They have a QR code. You can scan that if you have it. Otherwise, you can find them at Thundering Tau. That is where their social media handles are. And we are going to go on to our next part of our awards, and that is getting educated. And so our goal with College Prep 101 is to open the doors for more students to explore college educations. And there are various components of that. Tonight, we're going to discuss resumes and how they impact us and how they help us, whether they're scholarships, whether there's athletics resumes, or whether there are resumes for internships or jobs. And so the first step is getting in college. And so there are college applications going on right now, and we are going to give out 2 promo codes this evening. So make sure you engage, and that will get you free registration with Common Black College app. And there are 67 colleges that will be able to, you'll be able to apply for. And here's our kind of tonight's journey, how our session will work. We're going to have 3 10-minute sessions where our speaker gives you her knowledge, and then you get a chance to ask questions. Once she is finished, we're going to have a test at the end. So get ready. And then we're going to have our raffle opportunities, followed by ways and opportunities that you can retain consultation and help from the experts on your resumes. So hopefully you guys are ready. I'm sorry, ready for that. And I will turn it over to Christian Hill.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. I have the pleasure of introducing tonight's moderator, Miss Cangelin Dexter. Excuse me. Cangelin Dexter is a highly accomplished global marketing strategist and entrepreneur advocate based in Atlanta, Georgia. A proud Air Force brat who grew up in Germany and also speaks German, Cangelin learned early how to adapt, lead, and serve across cultures. Her global upbringing shaped her boldness and compassion, qualities she now pours into her work with risk takers, startups, and community development initiatives. Miss Dexter graduated from the Albany State University in Albany, Georgia, with a degree in marketing and communications. She totes a career spanning industry leaders such as Meta, formerly Facebook, Microsoft, Visa, MasterCard, and Nike. Ms. Dexter has been instrumental in groundbreaking initiatives, including PEG, the world's first accounting chatbot, and developing the MasterCard Stand Up to Cancer donation card. A lifelong champion of diversity and inclusion, Ms. Dexter co founded a corporate affinity group for Black professionals and led the creation of the 1.5 million annual Invest in Progress grant program for Black women entrepreneurs. She also serves as a certified digital coach for Google's Grow with Google initiative, mentoring young professionals on career development and personal branding. Beyond her professional contributions, Miss Dexter manages the career of her first artist, of her artist brother, Selah Vision, Soul of the Brush, whose work is featured in the Smithsonian National Museum of African American History and Culture. Additionally, she is the founder of K. Dexter Consultancy, Strategy, and Design Incorporated, which is set to release the Corporate Black Girl series, offering authentic insights for Black women navigating the corporate world. She is also the Marketing, Communications, and Public Relations Director for Mount Nebo Baptist Church and Life Center in Ellenwood, Georgia. Cangelin Dexter is a proud 27-year financially active member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, NAACP, NCNW, and WIT. Guided by the principles, the person who says it cannot be done should not interrupt the person who is doing it. She continues to inspire and impact communities and industries alike. Sora Dexter, we're happy to have you on tonight and look forward to hearing from you as and our moderator. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Woo! The pom poms are back. The pom poms are back. Happy New Year, everybody. I'm sure you all are excited, because I am too. This college prep webinar, this particular one for your resume, it's going to take you what you're going to learn today. It's going to take you're going to get those skills to build a resume that will help you throughout the rest of your life. So the fact that you're on here learning this today is going to just change the trajectory of who you are. So I want you to stay tuned. I want you to listen up. And I want to bring up and introduce a workforce strategist, honey. Strategist, yes. 20 years in the human resource area. Nicole M. Jones. So let me just introduce her really quick and run down the credentials and everything that she's going to teach you today. So Nicole M. Jones is a human resource leader with more than 20 years of experience shaping workforce strategies and supporting career growth in complex mission-driven organizations. Her work has spanned recruitment, from recruitment, employee development, training, facilitation, and organizational support. She has worked in leadership roles for Randstad, North America, IBM, and the state of Georgia, just to name a few. And she is now the founder and owner of TPF Global HR Solutions and CareSafe Healthcare Staffing Solution. So she's an entrepreneur as well. Nicole is deeply committed to helping others navigate their career paths, leverage their skills and grow with intention. Grounded in education and organizational leadership, she blends the practical workforce insight with a heart for teaching and empowerment. Nicole draws on her real world experiences to help audience gain clarity around their career direction, understand their value, and build careers while navigating today's evolving workplace. And it is truly evolving. Things have changed from COVID even to now. Nicole has an educational specialist, an EDS degree in educational leadership and administration, a master's of arts, an MA degree in organizational management, human resources, and a bachelor's degree in journalism and public relations. She is a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated and actively involved in her community through countless volunteer efforts throughout the Atlanta community. Look, folks, make sure that you have, as I always tell you, make sure that you have your notebook out. Make sure that you are looking on social media. Make sure that you're putting those questions in the chat, and make sure that you are listening closely, because you know we're going to have our commercial break. There's going to be some knowledge checks, and we'll also have our opportunity for you all to enter into that raffle and that drawing. Okay? So now, without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to Miss Nicole Jones so she could teach even me about resume writing. Come on, Nicole. Hold on, let me see. Let me get you unmuted. Hold on, let's see. Let's unmute you. Let's unmute you because we cannot miss any of this information. Let's see. Click on your, because I asked you to unmute.
Unmute.
All right, there we go. There we go.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Thank you so much for that introduction, Sora. Thank y'all so much for having me. I am excited. I'm always excited to talk about resume writing, interviewing, anything that can position people for the right position them, because we know that knowledge is power. So I am here to empower people as they go through their career and as they get ready to go into college. So we're going to move quickly through this. There we go. All right, let me get myself out of the way because I'm looking at myself and I need to be looking at the screen. There we are. So this is, of course, Scholarship Resume Writing, College Prep 101. And for some reason, every time I push, is it something else that I need to do? Because I'm pushing to go to the next screen, but it is not moving.
Let's see here.
Okay,
so it looks like you probably have to push the actual arrow down
at the bottom. That's what I'm pushing. And it's just not moving. There we go. Okay.
All right.
There we go. All right. So just a little bit about me. You've already said it, so I'm not going to belabor that. I am a career coach. I'm a resume expert. I was a VP of HR. That was my last position, and that's when I launched my own company, because at that point, I need to be the leader of the company. And I wasn't the leader where I was working. I wasn't the CEO where I was working. So I became the CEO of my own organization, helping people. I help students. I help those who are transitioning in career. My passion is high school students, because I want to catch you early. As you said, this is information that you can have for your life, for a lifetime. I am passionate about making resumes simple, yet clear and powerful tools for success. The objective of today's session is to help someone build a strong one page. And I'm saying one page because our audience is students. A student should not have any more than one page. A college graduate actually should not have any more than a one page resume. Now, once you get some work experience up to 10 years, then you should have 2 pages. But for today, we're going to talk about a one page resume that highlights your skills, achievements, and your potential goals. I'm going to help our students choose the right type of resume for scholarships, for college, internships, or athletic opportunities, because there is a difference. And I'm going to help you avoid common mistakes that make resumes hard to read for both humans and computers. And that is important because actually humans don't see your resume first, and we'll get into that. What exactly is a resume? We hear that term tossed around all the time. A resume, and I'm trying to move this picture of myself out of the way. A resume is a one-page snapshot of you, everything that you are from a professional standpoint. So it shows your experience, it shows your skills, the activities that you've done that may be relevant to the job in which you're applying, and your achievements. They are used for jobs, internships, scholarships, college, and sports opportunities. There are different types of resumes that students need to be aware of. There are five. There is a student resume, which, if you are coming out of high school or if you are a high school student looking for a job, that is what your resume is. There's chronological resumes, functional resume, a scholarship resume, and an athletic resume. A student resume, which can be used again, as I mentioned, for high school students and college students, and also is used for internships and programs. It will include your education, any clubs and activities that you are in, any sports that you've played, any volunteering. All of your volunteering information needs to go there, and any part time jobs that you have. A chronological resume. A chronological resume is used for college graduates, people right out of school when they've gotten their degree, and people with work experience. It is a chronological resume is the most common type of resume once you have graduated from college. It's going to have your jobs listed from most recent to your oldest. I always recommend no more than 10 years unless they have asked you for 15 or 20. So 10 years of experience from most recent to oldest, job titles, those companies and dates. It focuses on your work history and transferable skills. And we'll go into that a little bit more. Another very popular form of resume is a functional resume. It's best when you have limited work experience. I always recommend it to people who are trying to change career fields, career changes, any employment gaps. The reason why it is best for employment gaps and career changes because you don't want people to see that information first. And if you did a chronological resume, they would. So when you focus on when you use a functional resume, you're going to be highlighting and selling your skill set and your strengths, and you're going to sell what you can do more than your actual experience. And that is why I always recommend a functional resume if you are wanting to change career fields or if you have employment gaps. For my students, scholarship and athletic resumes. So, scholarship resumes are when you are applying for scholarships and they ask you to list out everything you've done academically. So, if your grades and your academics will go there, all of your leadership activities. So, if you're in the National Honor Society or the Beta Club, it is listed there. Your community service, as well as any awards and honors that you've received. Athletic resume, and this is for students who are applying for athletic scholarships or you need a resume to accompany your video reel, your highlight reel. My daughter is a college basketball student, so we had to use her, do a scholarship resume for her. So sports and positions will be listed there. Your stats and achievement, that's where you list all of your sports success, is going to be on what you call an athletic resume. Any leadership roles, if you were the captain of the team or whatever you have taken, it is listed there. Your coach's contact information should be listed on that athletic resume, as well as your academic standing. So if you are someone that will be going to or trying to play basketball or football, you should have a scholarship resume that you will send when you send your athletic reel and your link for all of your highlights, all of that information. You'll send an athletic resume along with that. Right now, we are just going to take a pause for a commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Look, now I'm trying to get off mute. Okay, and we have our we have our commercial break. Folks, it's time for the knowledge check. I hope you all took some notes, took some screenshots, all of that. Hold on, let me get my pom-poms. The pom-poms must return, must return. All right. So make sure if you're watching from social media, you won't be able to respond to the actual questions. But if you have a question, put those in the chat. As the, I'm trying to make sure that they tee up the questions. But they're not going to be hard, but I hope you were listening. But if you're watching from social media, put those questions in the chat because we will be answering those. But I hope that you have been taking notes about the different types of resumes and the different things that you could do. So here we go. The first question: how many pages is that common resume? How many pages? Put those answers in the chat if you're on the Zoom. All right, I see Tamiko Van is answering. She's okay. Aquarius is answering. Chastity is answering. We got a lot of answers. Kendall is answering. We got okay. Henner, Maria, Mari, Olivia. All right, Teresa's out there answering. Okay. How many pages are there, Miss Nicole?
One page. One page.
Right, one page. That common resume is one page. So
I see where Traden did 2 pages.
What you say up and make sure that you're very succinct and concise, right? One page. Ooh, I talk a lot, so you can imagine how long my resume is. But anyway, next question. All right. So all resumes are the same. Put that in the chat. Put it in the chat. Is that true? Yes, they are. No, they're not. Okay, Tamiko. All right. It's still Chastity's coming in. Kendall, Jaden, Teresa. All right, Miss Jones. Are all resumes the same?
No. No, they are not.
No, they are not. Lindsay is saying that too.
All
they
are not the same.
They're not the same, exactly. So one page, and then they're not the same. And then for a bonus, who can give me a before we go on to the next thing? Who can give me the different types? See if we were listening. At least one type. Bonus. You never know what may come with a bonus. Oh, Tamiko again. Lindsay, athletic, chronological. Olivia, functional. All right, Chastity, scholarship. Are those all correct?
Yes.
Yay, Kendall.
Yes. Yes.
Traden listed all of them.
Yes.
And chronological, athletic, functional, scholarship. All right, you all were listening. That's what we want. Okay, so now it's time for those question and answers in the chat. If you're in the Zoom room, go ahead, put your questions in the chat. If you're on social media, we've got our social media divas, our Q&A divas that are back. Happy New Year. And then we also have, I think, someone that may be monitoring for our Thundering Taw partner chapter out there, monitoring their pages as well. So let's go ahead and introduce our divas, our Q&A divas, and our Mr. out there. All right. Dr. Regina, hey, good. I see you on the screen. Hold on, let me spotlight you so we can see these. This South Carolina, I think let's see what it is up here. What's on the screen? Okay, Dr. Haygood, tell us what college or university you matriculated at.
The South Carolina State University, the national HBCU champions of 2025.
You see how she had to put all that in there, y'all. You see that? You
Mhm.
see how she had to put all of that in there? You see that? I just said, what? Where did you matriculate? All of that in the extra. Okay, let me go ahead and let me move over to Miss Jerry, our other diva. All right, hold on. Let's see. Can you get up? Come off mute, Jerry, Miss Jerry.
I
Okay,
think I'm
where did you matriculate from, Lord? We
from
just
the highest of seven hills, Florida Agricultural and Mechanical University.
I see Miss Jones up there putting in.
Of course.
Wait a minute. All right. All right. And then is Mr. Ahmad Henry out there as well?
Yes, I am right here. How are
Okay,
you
let me
doing?
hold on. Let me spotlight you. Love all these spotlights of these people. And Kristen, are you coming on too? Okay, all right.
I am. I'm here.
Yeah, okay, Mr. Ahmad, go ahead and tell us, where did you matriculate from?
I went to the illustrious Clark Atlanta University. Beautiful CAU.
Yes, 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 right here in the A. All right. Okay, Kristen. Well, I think we see that background.
Auburn University. Auburn University.
Excellent, excellent. See, we got a lot of different universities that are represented here
That's
tonight.
right.
So Divas and Mr. Gentleman, any questions? Regina, any questions at Facebook? Anything on YouTube? Miss Jerry and Mr. Ahmad, anything out there in Thundering Taw, Facebook land? Who wants to go first? Who's got the first call? All right, Regina, I see your hand. Go ahead.
Yes, yes. Good evening. Good evening, all. How often should you update your resume?
Ooh,
Great question. Can you hear me? Make sure she hears me.
yes,
Okay,
yes.
great. Great question. I think that you should update your resume every time you get a new position or you take on new responsibility at the job where you are. So if they give you something new, a new initiative, a new project that you have to lead or that you are contributing to, update your resume with that information. Also, update your competency skill with that information as well.
Very good question. That's a very good question.
That was a great question.
Yeah. So that means you got to stay on top of your resume. That's
Yes, you do. I
yeah.
recommend every 6 months to a year, no more than 2 years, because a lot of times people are just working, taking on extra things. And then let's say that job has gone away. Then you've got to go back and then revisit everything that you did to try to scramble to put a resume together when you should actually always have it together, especially in this marketplace where we are now.
And then with the students, as they take on different leadership roles or they're in different clubs or groups,
Yes,
they should be adding those to the resumes as well.
absolutely. Everything, because your resume is your opportunity to toot your horn on
Yes.
paper.
Awesome.
Yes.
Kristen, I saw you had your hand up.
I do. I do. I actually have two questions. So, our first question says, what should I cut out if my resume will be more than one page?
Okay, so good question. So students is who I recommend that one page for because they've not had enough work experience. It shouldn't be beyond one page, right? So when you get to 2 pages, that means you have about 2, 3, 5 to 10 years of experience. If it is anything over 10 years of your experience, cut it out. It shouldn't be there. One, it dates you. Let's say you have 20 to 30 years of experience and your interviewer is 25. That is how people can aid you out of a position without you ever even going for the position. You've given them too much information. Most job descriptions are going to ask for 5 to 10 years. You give them exactly what they asked you for, no more. People love to say, well, I did this, and this, and that. You can summarize everything that you did in a professional summary. Other than that, 10 years of experience.
Wonderful. Okay, and then the next question says, should we list our references on our resume?
Absolutely not. I actually take out the question that says references upon request. That's implied. Most positions, when you apply, they're going to go through a job application and they will give you a space to list references. Then do not. They don't need to find out any more information ahead of time. Have them ask you. You're that valuable where you can be asked, and then you can provide the information. But don't give them anything ahead of time.
Thank you. Those were my two questions.
Thank
All right,
you.
Miss Jerry, anything?
Yes.
All right.
We do have one question, and the question is, do you need both the scholarship and athletic resume?
No. So if you are going for an athletic scholarship, just do the athletic resume because that will have the coach's information on it. Scholarship is if you're applying for an academic scholarship. But if you're going for an athletic scholarship, the athletic resume will suffice.
Okay, and I guess that would also be the same for functional and a
Yes. So
athletic.
students should not use a functional resume. They should just use a student resume. Functional
Okay.
and chronological resumes are once you have completed college and you are applying for a job. And the functional
Okay.
resume is if you you have a gap in your employment and you are trying to sell your skill set, that's when you use the functional resume.
Okay. All right. So, Kristen, go ahead.
I have another one. This says for someone who is pivoting professionally, can you explain more about using a functional resume?
Absolutely. So let's say you were in accounting and now you're going to move more into, let's say, a CFO role, or you were a regular accounting assistant. I don't say regular to minimize it, but you were in an accounting assistant role and now you want to take on more of a leadership role like a CFO or a comptroller at an organization. Your jobs that you've previously had may not necessarily qualify you for that more than your skill set. So, what you're going to do on a functional resume is you're going to list those skills and functionality of the position in the positions that you've done that would make you more suitable for a leadership role. So, you're selling a functionality more so than work experience. You would use it if you were a teacher and you then want to go be a corporate learning manager or a corporate trainer. A teacher has the skills that would be suitable for a corporate trainer, but not the work experience because their work experience has always been teaching. So they're going to sell and highlight their skills. It may be the top section may say something like professional delivery or professional training, corporate communication. You're going to sell the skills that you have done, not necessarily I worked at this school because the school's education may not qualify you necessarily, right? You've been a teacher. So whenever you're trying to use your skills to get into a new field, you want to sell those skills.
Awesome. Awesome. That was some excellent advice. Now, I see who's monitoring the Zoom room
Mhm.
chat, because I see one that from Chastity that we really need to hone in on specifically for our students applying for scholarships. Who's doing that? Is that you, Miss Regina?
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, from Chastity. When applying for scholarships, should a student lead with academics or leadership skills?
That is a great question. And you are going to lead with the basis of the scholarship. So let's say the scholarship is a leadership scholarship. Then you're going to lead your student resume or your scholarship resume with all of the leadership roles you've had. So if you were the president of the National Honor Society, the president of the Science Club, that's what you're going to lead for if it is a leadership scholarship. If it is a strictly academic scholarship, then you will lead, of course, with your GPA, the coursework that you've done, and all of the academics. So you are going to. I always say you give the people exactly what they ask you for, nothing more, nothing less.
Awesome. So I just want to check in. I know that there was I see another question.
In the
Uh,
chat. Mhm.
yeah, Miss Regina, and I think you covered this with regards to what happens when your education gets 10 years. Actually, no, 10 years or older, should it be removed?
It shouldn't even be on there to be removed. because they don't need, if they didn't ask you for 20 years, you don't tell them. You
You're
give them exactly what they ask you for. And I'm going to tell y'all a recruiter rule that most of you all probably don't know. We as recruiters, or those of us who are sitting on that side of the table, we get 200, 300, 400 resumes. We are not really reading all of those resumes. We are skimming those resumes. The average time a recruiter reads a resume is 7 seconds. 7 seconds. And if you've been doing it for 20 years like me, I can
stand it and move on into.
I hadn't even seen 20. I hadn't even seen. I am looking for exactly what I asked you for.
Okay. Wow. All right. So I just want to check in before we get to our raffle. And I tried to give you all time by making sure that we had our Q&A divas and our Q&A Mr. out there, Mr. Ahmad Henry. Is there anything in the Thundering Tall Facebook chat or anything out there in the Thundering Tall land? Any questions out there?
No, I actually don't see anything in the chat, and I'm not sure I'm looking at the right one, but no, at the
Okay.
moment, I don't know.
All right. So I was trying to give you all time to put on the social media hashtag college prep 101 so that your name can be entered into the raffle, because that's up next, right, Miss Tucker Davis?
I was trying to come off mute. Yes.
That's what I thought. I was like, what is that?
It was up next, and so I've been monitoring and trying to see, and so because I'm trying to read this little bitty film, it looks like we might be going into a tie. So we'll have a tiebreaker because a lot of you are putting 2 questions or 2 comments, and so you're all tied. So right now, I don't really have anybody in the lead to say you won. So we're gonna give out 2 raffles at the next commercial break because we are at a tie. I will tell you that that Tamiko Van, you're out there, you're in the running, and Lindsay McDaniel. And then we have the other name that was the tie was Kendall Good.
Kendall, yes.
So
Yeah.
so those 3, y'all in the running. So we'll come back. We'll see where we land because right now I'm just not comfortable with saying, doing eeny, meeny, miny, mo, because they're participating.
And someone in the Zoom land chat asked what is our YouTube page. So it's ASAC DST, ASAC DST on YouTube. So remember, go there. We've got some ties for the college prep chat or the college prep. Woo! Y'all better throw your name in the hat. Throw your name in it. All right. So, Ms. Nicole, we're going to turn it back over to you to talk about the next section. What should every resume include?
Absolutely. Thank you for that. So, every resume should include your name and contact information, education, your experience, skills, activities, and any leadership. So, when I say name and contact information, name, email address, and phone number, they do not need to know your address. Remove your address. That's information, they don't need to know it. So, just your name, your contact information. And then if you live in Atlanta, you will put as a location Atlanta area or Orlando area, Tampa area. You do not need to give them your address. And I'll tell you why. If you live somewhere like Atlanta and you say you live in South Fulton and you're applying for a job in Alpharetta, you've already told them that you're going to be stuck in traffic and you might be late because of Atlanta traffic. You've given them too much information. They don't need to know your address. Once you get the job, you can put that on the job application when you're filling out your new hire paperwork. Your education. If you are a student and you do not have any work experience yet, your education is going to go next. I do not ever tell people to put an objective on a resume. You want to know why? Why do you have a resume? To get a job. So we know your objective. That's a waste of space. Instead of objective, you should have a professional summary or a professional I've seen people do professional landscape, professional summary, no objective. We know what your objective is. Experience, again, no more than 10 years if you are a professional. If you are a student, you're going to put your education right under your professional summary. Then you'll have your education because you're selling your education, you're selling those degrees. If you are a professional and you have work experience, your education should be the last thing on the resume because you are selling your skills and you are selling your experience. And then, of course, there are skills and activities in any leadership roles. For students, it should be activities or volunteer or nonprofit, anything like that for professionals. Now, let's talk about applicant tracking systems because people seem to think that this is new, but it has been around. I have been in HR and recruiting since 2003. Applicant tracking systems became a thing probably around 2011. What an ATS is it is a computer software that scans the resume based on what we as the recruiter or hiring manager has told it what we're looking for. So let's say I'm hiring for an accountant. I'm going to put in my job description in the ATS, and then I am going to then put in keywords that should be in the resume, and then I'm going to go on and do the rest of my task or whatever else I'm doing. The applicant tracking system and how you'll know a company uses an applicant tracking system, most of them do. The only time that a person will see your resume is if someone says, send your resume to Kim at Cox Enterprises. Then it's going to go to Kim's email inbox. But most of the time you don't see that. When you click a job description, you're going to click in, and then it's going to take you to a Taleo, Brass Ring, Workday, Honest, Paycom, Paycor. You'll see some other system that is an applicant tracking system. So a robot or computer programming is what is reading your resume. That's what companies use to scan resumes. It looks for, like I said, keywords, simple formatting, and clean text. If a system cannot read it, please believe I will never, ever see it. It'll go into some black hole and the recruiter will never even see it. So, when you're applying for jobs and you don't even get anything back, you just applied and you didn't even get thank you for applying, it's because there was something on your resume, and oftentimes it's a border or a line and it just goes into a black hole and goes to la la land, and we never even knew that you applied for the job. So I'm going to get more into the formatting of that. What is an ATS friendly formatting? Plain text. Arial, Times Newman, Calibri. Simple headings. So again, you'll have your name, your email address, and your phone number, maybe possibly a LinkedIn, another section that will say Atlanta area. That's it. No line should go under that. Then you're going to have the next section, plain text. A really good resume is boring and ugly. It's not pretty. It has no graphics. It's plain text. Next, professional summary. Type your professional summary. Next, you're going to bold the line that may say skills. Okay, professional skills, relevant skills. Type that out. Next section, you're going to type and then put your work experience. There should be no lines and borders and all of those little fancy, cute designs because the computer cannot read that. The computer is looking for what I told it was looking for, which was accountant, spreadsheets, VLOOKUPs, or whatever it was that I said. That's all it's looking for. It cannot deduct because it is a computer, so it can't read that that's a line or a border. It's a computer. It cannot deduct that. All it knows that there's a character that it cannot understand, and it just kicks it out to a black hole. There should be a left align layout. Sometimes I'll get resumes where things are centered. Looks great, but the computer's never even going to give it to me. No designs, no decorations, no pictures, please. This generation loves to put pictures on resumes. I'll tell you why I say that, particularly because if you're Black, I didn't know you were Black, but you put your picture on there. Now I know you're Black. What if I didn't want to hire a Black person? This is the reality we live in. Don't give them anything more than what they asked you for. All they need is your name. They don't need to know anything about you until you get to the interview table. Best fonts to use: Arial, Times New Roman, Calibri. Plain fonts, they work for the computer systems. Resumes, do's and don'ts. Keep it to one page unless you are a professional. You can go up to 2 pages, but no more than 2 pages. We simply are not going to read that. And then again, a computer is just going to kick some of that stuff out. So I might not even get all of your resume. Use an objective for my students, professional summary for college grads. There should not be anyone with a degree, any work experience, or 2 degrees even with an objective on a resume. That shouldn't be. You're going to list your relevant experience first. If you are a student, your internships and volunteering count, so all of your volunteers, and you're going to use clean bullet points. No more than 3 for students, no more than 5 for professionals. I like to tell professionals when I'm doing resumes, we're going to use 4. What you don't want to do: no pictures, no graphic or charts, no lines, borders, or columns, no fancy fonts, please, no long paragraphs, because you only got 7 seconds of my attention, so I don't have time to read all of that. Recruiters typically have about 20 to 30 open requisitions that they are recruiting for at one time. And they don't know you. They don't have any affinity to you. You could be a great person, but to a recruiter on the other side trying to fill all those positions, you are just a piece of paper. So I'm not going to read it to see how interesting you are. And why you don't want to do any of those things? Because the computer system, the ATS, simply cannot read it, can't deduct, is not going to do anything with logic. So it's not going to try to put your picture together. It's just going to send you out to a black hole. And I will never even know that you applied. Some of those final resume writing tips, I know that was a lot, and we can go back through it. You guys can ask questions. What I recommend is that you keep it simple. You use keywords. Update your resume often. As you grow, your resume grows, but doesn't grow beyond 2 pages. And I can work with you one-on-one. If you are on the call and you say, well, my resume is 3, I can work with you on how to condense that. Show your achievements. You're going to focus on impact and value, not just your task. You are going to make me know on paper that you are a value and an asset. Proofread carefully. You can spell check it. You can put it in chat. Make sure it's no spelling and no grammar mistakes. But do not let chat write your resume for you, because we can tell from chat resumes. Highlight what makes you unique and be honest. Please do not exaggerate your story. Your work, everything that you've done matters. Your resume is your personal story. So you're going to make it count. You're going to make it clear, and you're going to let it open doors for your future. And I think we have another commercial break.
Yes, we do. And we're back. Wow. So let me tell you, just in that short amount of time, there are some things that I think that, if you are out there taking your notes, that section right there, obviously in addition to the others, but this section right here, the do's and don'ts, the final resume writing tips, as well as that ATS system. And I know we don't have all night, but
I can do that one all night.
Well, and I would love to go into the AI piece and how ATS, I'm sure, has
even harder.
It's even harder, yes, because the back office, those platform systems that the employers are using to screen out recruiter, your company being hired to really kind of look at all of those resumes and then even code and create some platforms to understand, and then the bias around it as well.
That's why no pictures, please.
Right, no pictures. We've already had to, I would say, overcome this discrimination with regards to your name. Being able to look at a specific name and understand what ethnic background, or assume that you know what ethnic background that person is from. So I love it when you say, give them only what they asked for. Only what they asked for.
People love to tell you everything about them on a piece of paper. That's not the point of a resume. A resume is to get you in the door.
Right.
When you are at the in the door, or you are at the interview table, or you're at the college where you want to go, you can shine and tell them everything about you, but you have to get in the door. And you only got 7 seconds to
Wow.
get in
Wow.
that door.
All right. So look, do we have those next questions? I'm giving you all time. Hashtag College Prep 101. Remember, we had a tie on the first round, but let's test your knowledge and see what you learned thus far. Also, make sure that you put those questions in the chat. I'm sure you all have a number of questions, because I wrote some things down, and I'm gonna ask mine once we get into the questions. But all right, hopefully you are ready. What is the ATS? What is ATS? Put it in the chat, put it out on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all of that. Let's go, let's go. What is ATS? What does this? All right, Lindsay's coming in. My goodness. Aquarius is coming in. Tamiko once again is coming in. Kendall. We're going to have to give y'all something just for being in the chat. Okay. What's the answer? Because I see two different things. What's the answer?
Applicant tracking system. Which I
Okay.
don't think she has on here, but it's applicant tracking system.
Yes.
Yes.
Applicant
Yes.
tracking system.
Yes.
Applicant tracking system, not term system.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
That's okay, Tamiko.
I know. It's all right. You said I went too fast. Yeah,
You knew what it was.
knew what it was. Yes, exactly. Okay, so this is a good one. Everyone needs to make sure that they know the answer to this one. Should you use graphic designs or pictures on your resume? They're coming in. Traden is coming in. Aquarius again. Ahana is coming in. What's the answer?
Absolutely not.
Oh, make it simple as possible.
Mm-hmm.
Readable
Plain
font, please.
as possible.
Plain
Please.
as possible.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my question, as we are getting ready to go into our Q&A divas and our Mr. Chat out there in social media world, the question I have is LinkedIn. We have now, obviously, LinkedIn is that tracking, or that tool, that social media or professional media tool. Should we list that on the resume with our air quote contact information? Should we list that?
You can. I am not a recruiter that likes LinkedIn, because on LinkedIn, everybody paints a positive story of themselves, an inflated positive story of themselves. So as a recruiter, I'm going to dig a little deeper than your LinkedIn.
Okay.
What I like to do, and what I have done, and since we're speaking from a professional standpoint, if it is a high position like a leadership role, I'm going to go to your Facebook or your Instagram. I'm going to find you. So we have ways to find you. I want to see how you operate in day-to-day life. On LinkedIn, everybody's perfect, right? Everybody's perfect there. But so recruiters actually don't like LinkedIn. People will tell you to do job searches. From our side of the table, we don't like LinkedIn because it's going to paint one story of you.
Okay. Wow.
That's an insider tip from the other side of the table, which is where I sit.
That is
most
great.
people, and I always say that most people looking for a job are going to look from their perspective is, I want you to know everything about me. Two different perspectives. I don't want to know everything about you. I just want to know if you can do what I asked for in the job description.
Interesting. I like that.
Different perspective.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. So our Q&A divas, Kristen's already off mute. So I know she's got something. Where is Miss Regina? Where is Miss Regina? Dr. Regina? Okay, they're back from their commercial break. They've been out there getting things and looking at the questions. All right, go ahead, Kristen, while I go ahead and try to make sure that everybody's on screen here.
All righty. So this question kind of piggybacks on what Soar Dexter was talking about. It says, if you have a noticeably ethnic name, should you abbreviate your name or spell it all the way out?
Great question. So what I have recommend, I once had a resume client and her name was Majida. Okay. She shared with me that she'd worked somewhere and they called her Maggie. And I was like, well, we're not going to call you Maggie because your mama named you Majida. I'm going to call you Majida. Her middle name was like Rochelle. So her resume was M. Rochelle and her last name.
Hmm.
So when they called her to schedule the interview, they had to ask for her by last name.
Interesting.
You
I
can use
had
your
a
first initial and your middle name.
yeah.
9 times out of 10, your name is, if it is one of those names, like an ethnic name, is maybe Shanika Renee. Use S. Renee Tucker.
Understood.
Mhm.
It's
I
sad
like
that we
that.
still have to do that, but thank you
It's
so
sad
much
that
for
we
that.
have to do that, and
It is.
especially now. And
Yeah.
I'm going to say this: use your name.
Yeah.
Use your name. But if you are uncomfortable because maybe you felt like you're not getting calls back because of your name, 9 times out of 10, it's not the name; it's the resume itself.
Thank you. Thank you.
I have
Resume itself.
just a quick personal story, and of course, I'm older than the students that are online. But back when I was in my beginning my career, obviously people look at my name, they don't know how to pronounce it. They're just
Mhm.
really, and a recruiter told me you're gonna have to do something with your name.
Mhm.
And so my professional name is Kay.
Mhm.
I Cangelin K. Dexter.
There
And
you
I
go.
allow people to say that, but I
Mhm.
always sign everything with my name and
What's
I
your
would
name?
introduce myself
Mhm.
as that. And so times have evolved and changed. And I love the actual advice that you have given, you just gave, because I really wish someone would have told me that
Just
instead of,
use your first initial and your middle name. Because what's
yeah,
your middle name, if you don't mind my asking?
well, that's a family name. So
Okay. Okay. Well,
yeah,
well,
but
most
I
people
get
can
that.
use
I
it.
totally, I get it. I get it,
Yep.
Miss.
Use your middle name or use, if you want
Yes,
to do both initials and your last name.
yes,
Because
yes.
your resume is what's going to get you there. What she's
Right,
listing on that resume.
right,
Mhm.
right. Love it. All right. So who's next?
I have one more.
Okay. All right. Let's
And
hear.
it's a very simple one. I know we're talking about electronic resumes, but this says if you bring a paper resume, should you use colored paper or should you even keep that simple?
Absolutely. It can be white or that resume paper, that off-white color. If you want to go spend money on that, honey, you can just print it on some white paper. It does not have to be all of that. It doesn't, because we want you in and out, in
Right,
and out.
right.
Mhm, mhm.
All right. Thank you, Miss Kristen. All right, Miss
Okay.
Jerry, Miss. Okay,
Yes.
yes. Go ahead.
Okay, I'll go next. Okay, so I know you've already mentioned Chat GPT, but just to clarify, should you run your resume through Chat GPT or AI to see if it'll pass ATS?
So I'm going to tell you a trick. Once you have your resume, the answer, because of the world that we live in now, is yes. You can run it past Chat GPT or you can send it to me, right? And I can review it. But what you would do is take your resume. This is my resume. That's what you'll put in chat. And then you'll say, this is the position that I am applying for. You're going to copy the position that you are applying for, put that into the chat, and say, please make my resume ATS compatible for this position. Chat's going to come back and give you an ATS resume. What it does is it takes those key words and phrases out of the resume and puts them into your resume, out of
That's
the job description, and puts them into your resume.
Okay,
that's awesome.
that's great.
That's yeah, that's great. That's a great way to use it versus just like
Don't
you.
get it to write it for you.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly. You'd mentioned that about you all can tell
Because I can
when you're not
tell.
a
Because
resume.
chat gonna make you sound real good. Like, this don't even sound real.
Jerry,
And I
anything
do
else?
have one last question,
Okay.
and should you use bold or underline words in your, or is that an issue?
No, you shouldn't. Because why? No. plain text. And I'm going to give you something. So if it's underlined, that puts a line under the word. But when I, as the recruiter or hiring manager, put what I was looking for and it asked me for keywords in that ATS, I didn't put a line under the word. And a computer is not logical. It's going to say, what is this? I don't know what this is. Your resume goes off into the black hole. Very plain text. Give it exactly what it asks for, nothing more.
Once again, giving it exactly what they asked for. That's the theme, the phrase of the day. Nothing more, nothing less.
Nothing less.
All right. Thank you, Miss Jerry.
Thank you.
Miss Regina, anything out there? And Mr. Ahmad, I'm coming to you next. I think you have some questions too, but Miss Regina, anything from you?
Yes, I have some.
Okay.
Do you still put the GPA in class rank if it's less than 25%?
No, you don't need the GPA as well, because the only time the GPA is relevant is scholarship before you get to college. Professionally, I don't know that I've applied for a job that has ever asked me my GPA. And I'm going to say this for those from a professional standpoint. I know we're talking to students. So yes, because even if it's less than 25%, there are some scholarships out there, and there are some colleges that are looking for those students with those less than. They're looking for those C students to give them an opportunity. They are looking for them. I worked for a senator who only wanted to give scholarship money to students that had a lesser GPA, because who else gave them a chance? That was his mindset.
Wow.
So there are people still looking. So you have to know what you're applying to. If you know you have a 2.7 GPA, you don't need to be even applying to something that says they're looking for a 3.8 or higher.
Very true. Very true. Anything else, Miss Regina, Dr. Haygood?
Yes. Do you put your social media on the resume?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Do you take resume in with you when you go for the interview, or what?
I always recommend that people take them. 9 times out of 10, we're going to print them out, especially if it's a panel style. We've printed them and everyone has it. But I think it just shows that the initiative from the applicant to walk in there, it's professional, they're organized, they're confident. When I'm bringing this resume with you, I am confident about what I'm about to present to you.
Yes.
Absolutely.
For that. And I have another one. Where does community service go on the resume?
It goes right above or after education. So for students, right, that is what they're looking, that is going to help them get the scholarship. So they would have their name, the fact that they want to get into the school, they'll have their academics, and then they're going to have their community and volunteer information. I have seen students where there's a format where the students will list that to the side of the resume, and then there's a line. Guess what? That line, if you're applying for internships, is going to get bounced out. No lines and borders on resume. The computer doesn't know what that is. So you're going to put it in a section. I should have done a sample resume here, but you'll put it in the bottom of the resume.
Okay. All right.
Wow, I'm glad you said that, because I had mine professionally done. They put like a line
on that side. And so a lot of times resume companies are not HR people. They're just writers in resume companies. And so they don't know all of the tricks. It's best to get resumes written by the people that actually do the hiring.
All right. Now that's a great tip. That's a great tip. The people that actually do the hiring, go to them.
Go to them, because a resume writer, there's tons of resume writing services, right? But they're writers. They probably haven't hired. I've hired hundreds of people over 20 years.
Right.
I know what the hiring manager, the person, the recruiter and the HR person is in those meetings with the hiring manager. So I know exactly what they're looking for. I hear them complain about the resumes. I don't have any good candidates. What are you experiencing? So I hear that. Let someone who has done hiring write your resume for you. A lot of times people will come to me after they've paid hundreds of dollars to resume writing companies and they're not getting anywhere. The minute I look at the resume, I'm like, I can tell you why you're not getting a job.
Wow. Okay, sis, I'm
Jerry's on this call. Jerry's my witness. She's on the call. So I have people, Aquarius. I have people on the call that know. Yeah, she knows.
All right. All right. So, Mr. Ahmad, our Q&A mister out there, anything?
So actually, we do have a couple, and I was looking at a different live from before. So we had some from earlier. One of the
Okay.
questions I think you already answered. I think you answered it just recently. If I'm a scholar, do I put stats on my resume? And then the next part is, how do I add class rank if your GPA is not the top 10 or 25? So I think you gave the answer to that one already just now.
Yes.
One of the ones that I did see come up was, what about magna cum or magna cum laude? Should you put that on your resume?
Who asked you that when you go for an interview?
Not me. I'm not sure.
I've never been asked that when I go for an interview.
Yeah.
They've never asked what cum laude, thank you, laude. They never asked about any of them. They're great academically. I even tell people to take the year that you graduated off of your resume, because guess what it does for some of us? Ages us.
Right. You said that. You talked about
It
that.
ages us right out the gate. If I'm saying I graduated from college in 1993, they weren't even born. A lot of the recruiters now weren't even born then. They don't. So they're like, I don't want to hire my mom, right? Out the gate. I'm already out the gate. All they need to see is whatever degree they asked for. I have it and it's listed there in the school that I attended. They don't need to know the year that you attended.
Wow. All right, Kristen, I think you had another one, didn't you? You had one?
Yes.
All right.
I was looking in the actual Zoom question and there's a chat
Yes.
and there's a question and answer session. So I'm going to look at those. So Tamiko asked, when you do have more than 10 years, how do you get your dot points down to only 4? What type of, I'm sorry, you want to do one at a time, or yeah, let's do one at a time. Go ahead.
Okay. So how you get it down to 4, what were some key things that they were looking for in the job description? Most job descriptions are going to be bulleted. You pick 4 of those things in that job description that were bulleted and most relevant to your experience. And those are the 4 that you're going to list. When you get to the interview, you can expound more by saying, oh, this is not on my resume. Let's say they ask you a question. Do you have experience with, I don't know, I'm just throwing this out, Oracle? Oh, I don't have it listed on my resume because you all did ask for 10 years of experience, but there was a time in my career where I worked at so-and-so, and we used Oracle. You can tell them once you get to the table. You just got to get to the table.
I love it. Just got to get to the table.
Exactly. Exactly.
These next 2 questions are pretty similar, so I'm going to push them together. So Aquarius and Tamiko said, what type of presence should students build online? And when you go on IG or Facebook, what are you looking for that LinkedIn is not giving you?
Absolutely. The truth.
Right.
So LinkedIn doesn't give you the truth. I'll tell you guys an interest. So let me answer the student part first. Building your presence online is extremely important, especially for scholarships. Extremely important. And we look at that information more than not. If you're online, cursing, flashing money, dancing provocatively, doing all this irresponsible behavior, and then you are applying to a college, guess what that college is not going to think? That you can represent their school or their image in a positive way. Now, if you're a professional and you're doing some of those things, I once hired person pretty much had the job, and it was like a regional superintendent for a local school district here where I work. Then we went online and found all kind of information about this person. That job offer was pulled. It is very, very important. Can you have a social media profile? Absolutely. You may want to use your middle name again on that or some other way, or you definitely do not want to have your coworkers as your friends on social media. So you can have a social media presence, but just like representing anything, keep it professional. Because social media, we'd like to think that that stuff doesn't have a lifetime. It has a lifetime. Once it's out there, it's out there. People, even if you remove a video, they can still save it and send it to your boss, send it to anybody.
Absolutely. And now with AI, facial recognition, I mean,
absolutely.
A long time ago, we used to teach a class talk with regards to social media and bullying and things of that nature, from that perspective. And these handles that people are creating or making up to circumvent being found. Now technology is so advanced, it has the facial recognition, it will find you.
We're living in days of Big Brother for real.
For real, yeah.
They can find you.
Totally.
Yes.
Jerry has a question, and then I'm hoping that Miss Tucker Davis is putting all of those names into the raffle, because remember we had a tie earlier, and so now we should have a myriad of names. But Miss Jerry has a question. She has her hand up. Go ahead and
Yes, there was one more question in the chat from
Okay.
Kendall, and it said, should you apply on the company's website?
Absolutely. So let's say you see the job description on LinkedIn. My recommendation to everyone is you may see it on LinkedIn and it says, okay, company Sherwin-Williams. You go to the company website and apply to that position. Don't apply through Indeed or LinkedIn if you can, because a lot of times those are sponsored ads and that position may not even be open, really.
You're right.
Then when you go to the company website, you want to validate and verify that it is actually an opening. Always go to the company website. That is where the ATS system and that posting is going to go right into that recruiter's inbox. But Indeed, I don't know.
Yeah, you don't know where it's going.
You don't.
These are some great tips. Oh my goodness, we got like these are some great tips. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, we need to do this. I've got to do this. I love the part about the social media, building that brand, that online brand presence.
You are your brand. You are your brand.
Absolutely. Doing that early, because colleges, I'm finding out, they are looking across, social to see whether or not the students can represent them. Even though you are paying for your college, in some cases, or they're giving scholarships, we still want to know whether or not that student is representative of the value.
And you still may have an internship that you want to apply
exactly,
for.
An internship as well. So, all right, Miss Tucker Davis. Woo! I know that you had at least 50 entries because we had a tie the first time.
Thought it was gonna get better, but they kept on and they were tying, and so I was like, oh my goodness. So but I will say that December of 2025 was when we were supposed to have this workshop initially. And so that means that we have two extra extras. So even I thought it was gonna pan out, but then they amped it up. So our contestants came from the pool of the people in the chat and on the Facebook social media pages. And so our highest participants are Kendall Good, Chastity Longley, Tamiko Van, and Aquarius Kane. Those are the top 4 that we have. So what I need you to do is I need you to, in the chat, type your name, your email address, so we can communicate with you next steps and what needs to happen, and high school. And so hopefully that you all will follow through, and we will be able to send you the promo code and you can apply for the 67 colleges on the Black Common App. And get in, because those 67 colleges are all HBCUs, because the regular Common App has a combination of PWIs, which are predominantly white institutions, and HBCUs, which is historically Black colleges and universities. And so I went to Florida A&M, the highest of 7 hills. So, we're listed and I want you to apply, but go ahead and put your name, your email address, and make sure it's the email address that you check.
Yes.
Because Miss Jones didn't talk about email addresses being on your resume, and then they contact you and you don't know because you don't check your email, because you really check your Apple iCloud address, but you don't use that one. So and we'll have a little section, maybe you can talk about that in just a few minutes. But if those 4 persons could put their email address, their name, and their high school in the chat, we will get that information and communicate with you on next steps to get your promo code. So congratulations.
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 Yes, and we see some coming in the chat. Make sure you do that before we end this session and this webinar so that you can get your Common App and get access. All right, folks. So we are headed to the resume checklist. So let me go ahead and turn it back over to Miss Jones.
Okay.
To review that checklist.
Let me get, oh Lord, I'm just all over the place. Hold on. Let me get my mouse. Okay. Let me get over there to the resume checklist. And there we go. Can y'all see it?
Yes.
Okay, so this is a one page. I don't know if we have everybody's email address. We'll try to
I'm gonna put it in the chat right now.
Okay, perfect.
Drop it down in the chat, and then we're gonna make sure that the folks on social get it as well.
Okay, perfect. All right, so that's just kind of summarizing everything that I talked about for your resume, one page or possibly two for those for my professionals. And I did not have a slide with my information on it, but I will do something on this call. If you all are listening, there are ways that you can get in touch with me. So my website is www.tpfhrsolutions.com. There we go. Oh, there we go. There's all the information right there. And if you all want, I will put a phone number in the chat. You can just as well text me. I don't mind. Because you know what, phones have a wonderful feature called block. So I don't actually ever mind giving my number out because you can always block a person. So I don't mind. I'll give that to you if you have any questions you want to text, or if you would like any of the services that I provide. They're all listed there. Thank you, Dana. I go over how I even do interview prep, particularly for interviews are tricky because people, their nerves always get in the way sometimes. So I have a way that I can minimize nervousness in resumes. And it's like my unique way that I walk through mock interviews with people. So anything that you need to reach out to me for, I'm going to put my phone number in the chat for you guys.
Okay. And I think there was a slide for questions to consider. If you want to go over that one as well.
Yes, thank you. Okay. Do you have a resume? Yes, you should. You should. Even if, because if you are applying for a position as a resume, as a high school student, you still need a resume, right? For that job. Is your resume one page or more? It can be 1 to 2 pages. Even my professionals, those who have come to me with 4 pages, I have gotten that resume down to 2. And then they're like, wow, is this me? And I'm like, well, is it? Yeah, it's you.
I'm gonna need those services.
Yeah. Let's see. The next question is, have you tested this is for you all. Test your resume to determine if it will pass ATS checks. And I gave you a suggestion using chat. You can take your resume and then take the job description, put them in chat together, and ask chat to make your resume ATS friendly or ATS compliant for the job in which you're applying. Okay. Is your resume focused for its purpose? This is to you all. I gave y'all all of the different resumes, so make sure that your resume is focused. If you have a question for my professionals, you have a question between the difference between, or if you should use chronological or functional, text me and ask me. Okay. And if you want a professional to review your resume, I am offering myself. My phone number will be, like I said, in the chat.
All right.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
Before we end.
Kristen still has a question.
Yes. I stepped away for a second and my little chat was left unattended. So the students are talking about social media again. So one person says they have some political videos on their social media. Should they take that down? And then the other Aquarius said, you said that your online presence is necessary. So what exactly should teens be posting? Should they be posting sports, volunteering, awards, or just their everyday life?
All of those things, Aquarius. Sports, volunteering, any social things. Let's say we do a trip with teens to a nursing facility, nursing home. Sure, post that. Girl Scouts information, post that. Stats, football team, cheerleading, your video reel for your basketball game, post that information. Fights, world star, absolutely not. We don't need to see it.
At all.
You and your video and y'all doing the latest TikTok trend. If you're doing it with your mom and it's cute and clean, sure. If it's a little bit, people know when they have pushed the bar.
Mm-hmm.
They know, if it's something that you don't want your mama to see, then HR and the recruiter doesn't need to see it either. It's that simple. So to the question about the political, that's a great question.
Yes.
So let's say you have something on your page. Kamala Harris is coming into town, but the company that you're applying for or a company that you're interested in, is very conservative. What have you told them about you? Too much information. Too much information. I am of the belief, again, you tell them what they need to know. That's it. A lot of times when resumes come to me, they will have Black Student Union, Black the Black MBA. I'm a part of the National Black. That's great. I'm a part of a lot of those things too. They don't need to know that about me until I get in that door, until I have signed my offer letter. Because what did I tell them on my resume? What have I told them?
Your race.
Blackity, blackity, black.
Yeah, your race. Or at least the race that you could be an ally,
right?
But there's an
that you but because you don't
know
know what's on the other side of the table. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
Unless it is relevant to the job in which you are applying.
Yes.
It does not need to be listed on your resume. When you get there, you can put all of that information up in your office or in your cubicle. You got the job at that point.
Right. Join the ERG that you support.
All of that. But until you sign an offer letter, you only tell them what they asked you for. Nothing more, nothing less.
Mm-hmm. All right. So let me look in the, is Regina out there with the spam chat? I mean, not the, look at me talking about the spam chat. I'm reading one of the comments.
Let's see what Dana's doing.
And who's doing the actual Zoom chat?
Anything I didn't see anything else in the Zoom chat. I think that was Regina, but I was kind of looking too.
Dana has a great suggestion. Create a spam page without your headshot so the system cannot connect you on social media. You can have a page without a picture. You can have a page that you use that's forward facing professionally, and then you can have your page where you're doing all kind of little dances if you want. But my rule of thumb, if you didn't want your mama to see it, then HR doesn't need to see it either.
Right. Do they call that faceless
social media? The faceless social media, absolutely.
Faceless social media?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the world we live in. But we have always lived in a world where everything that we have done has been, we've had to filter everything that we do. So this isn't new. Just because we're in social media, we've been Black forever. So we've always had something that we've had to overcome.
Yes.
This is not new.
I see too that and I know we're going to the final QR code while Ms. Jones answers this last one. Tamiko says is it okay to pick something else, as I'm not a college student, I'm in the process of wanting to change jobs.
So can I answer that, Dana? I know that y'all have gifts, so yes, you can give it to the college student, but okay, I'm being obedient to Miko. If you want to reach out to me, I will do your resume rewrite. That'll be your prize with no charge.
Awesome. All right. So, hey, we have had a wonderful time here tonight. I mean, the information has been invaluable that you all have received. And so in order for us to understand whether or not you need more information on topics like these, it's time for you to complete this survey. We always want that feedback. We need to understand what worked, what we need to update, and what are some of the things that you actually want to talk about and hear on these next sessions for our 20th College Prep 101 session series. So scan if you have your phone, and are you looking at this on your laptop, you've got your phone, and Miss Kristen has put the actual link in the chat. And I know that the Q&A social divas out there, though, they're putting the actual link in the chat so you can just click on it and fill out this survey. We really want your feedback. We promise to look at it. We look at every single resume that comes through, believe it or not, because we want to make sure that we evolve as this series evolves. Ms. Lindsay says, thank you for this presentation. As a federal employee, it's been so helpful for her to update her resume. So what now?
Instead of scanning that QR code, the updated survey is the link in the chat.
In the chat.
So
all right. The updated
this survey, I believe, is from last webinar. So forgive us for that. But the one that I put in the chat is the correct survey.
All right. So look in the chat. We'll see if you can post it again, Kristen, if you can. And then our social media Q&A divas out there and our Q&A mister, if you could make sure that you put the College Prep 101 resume link in the chat, in your various chats out there, that would be great. Look, we thank you so much for joining us this new year. Make it a resolution or a list of things to do this year to get your resume updated, regardless of whether you are a student, a current working adult, or going into starting your career. Make sure you use this information. This actual session will be available on Facebook, YouTube, and the like, so that you can go back, fast forward to some parts that you may need. And we want you to get in contact with Miss Nicole Jones. She's offered her services out there. She wants you to develop and evolve from student to career growth. Okay? We want to thank our partners, Thundering Taw and the High Aspirations Foundation, Inc., as well as the Atlanta Suburban Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, for this webinar today. Thank you so much for watching. We will always have something dealing with college prep. The pom-poms will be back, and we will see you next month for College Prep 101, our webinar series. Have a great evening. And if there are any questions, hey, we're going to be here for a few more minutes. Let us know. We can always answer them. We can always do what we need to do.
We do have a question, actually.
Okay.
Look, these folks are excited. So it says, when is a cover letter needed?
That is a great question. Can y'all hear me?
Yes. We can.
Okay, perfect, because I got some crazy message on the computer. So I'm going to be honest with you. As someone who has recruited in corporate and state government, I have never read anybody's cover letter. The only time you should do a cover letter is if it asks for a cover letter. But I'm going to be honest with you, they are not going to read it. But if, let's say, government positions always ask for a cover letter, that is really when you're going to see government or some academia. So if you're applying for like a school district level position or higher ed at a university, they may ask for a cover letter. Corporate, no. So if they don't ask you for one, again, what is our rule of thumb? You give them what they ask you for. Nothing more, nothing less. If the position does not ask for a cover letter, and most job postings will say optional. It says optional 9 times out of 10. If it says optional, skip over and give them what they ask you for.
Okay. All right. All right. So look, we've got some closing remarks from Ahmad Henry from Thundering Taw. He one of our partners, our esteemed partner. Go ahead and close us out for the night.
Yeah, thank you all very much. I want to thank everybody for coming out as well as having us as a partner. I'm actually recently the new person to be on this now. So this is my second time being on here. And there's a lot of information that I'm grasping. When I was doing a resume, it just broke my heart when you said you never look at a cover letter, because I used to stress. It's a stress to have a good cover letter. I'm like, this is gonna be it. This is the one.
I know you put so much into it. No, I once did a panel at University of Georgia, me and a group of recruiters. And when the students asked, right, because you're taught to do a cover letter. So the students asked us, they raised their hand and it's like, well, should we do a cover letter? And no one wanted to say no at first. And all the recruiters, we all looking at each other like, well, who's going to tell them? And then we were like, we don't read it.
Wow.
We don't read it. No, across the board, we don't read it.
So thank you for that and all the information and everything that you guys are giving to everybody that's on this live and this chat and this stream, to the amazing women of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. I know for myself that I was able to go through college and do a lot of things because of the help of the ladies like you all. So I appreciate you all for putting me with you all in this panel.
Awesome. All right, folks. That is it for tonight. We will see you back in February. Look on both Thundering Tall, Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, Atlanta Suburban Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Those Facebook pages will have the registration for next month's series. Don't miss it. You know it's going to be good. That's what we do here. It's going to be great. All right. Thank you, Miss Nicole.
Yeah, thank you all. Thank y'all, Soros. Thank you so much.
All right.
Yes.
Have a good night, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.